From the E-Radio Network Sports Desk to your radio dial, this is the Matt Mosley Show. Covering everything from the gridiron to the hardwood, breaking down the latest headlines, talking to the pros, and bringing the heat like only Mosley can. This is the Matt Mosley Show, and it starts now.
It is Matt Mosley Show, E-Radio Network, and we need to, just so you can understand and believe it, we need to let you hear from Nico Harrison speaking to Dallas reporters earlier today. And now, for the life of me, Daniel, I can't understand how in the world... Like, why didn't they just do this? I mean, not that this was any great shakes, but why did they do that thing the other day before the season was over in a closed-door, weird invitation only, like you got the golden ticket, Willy Wonka's golden ticket? I mean, that was an odd deal, which apparently reports are that he didn't want to do it. The owner made him do it. So today, after the exit interviews the other day, he meets with the whole media, because I'm sure they heard the criticism is you called together like a handful of people. You didn't just do it in front of the entire Dallas media, in front of cameras, the way you're supposed to do it, the way anybody does a news conference at the end of the year. So today was supposed to be that. And boy, did they control it, because this was, started about 1:05. Shut that thing down by about 1:20. Let's get out there. Let's get this in. Let's get old Nico out of there. Okay. And by the way, you say, well, why is the PR? Why are the Mavs been so long? Well, he fired everybody that was the good PR people. I mean, I'm sure there's still great folks out there, but the people I knew, Scott Tomlin, got ushered out. Well, Scott did leave on his own to go work for Dirk's organization, but it was only after one of his best, Dirk and Casey Smith and all these other people, that Casey Smith's the head athletic trainer, were summarily dismissed, and basically your franchise hero was kicked to the curb, which is what they did with Dirk, unbelievably so. Like, how can you foul this up any worse? The answer is you can't. So, thanks to our man Trevor at the E-Radio Network and Daniel, we've obtained, some of the clips from today, him talking to the media, and Nico, you'll hear his voice. Nico has a kind of like, he's just I don't know what you would compare it to, Daniel. Kind of he should be maybe in his next career, which he hopefully will start soon. It'll be, kind of jazz, maybe introducing some jazz hits, maybe doing some easy listening. Man has kind of a soft voice. He has a pleasant enough voice, but boy, does he deliver very curious things. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll hear some of this, and we'll react to it. So first, Nico was asked during this, about 20-minute long news conference, and by the way, did they do this today? Because Tim McMahon, who was jousting with him the other day and basically kind of got him on the defensive, Tim was out of town covering probably the Grizzlies or one of these other series. So he couldn't get back to be at this hastily called news conference today. So, now that doesn't mean whoever the media was left didn't ask some good questions. They tried, but you can only do so much. But I just wanted to add that Tim McMahon, who is kind of known for being a little bit in your face when it comes to questioning, and has alienated Jason Kidd before, Luka. He is an equal opportunity alienator. All right, he just goes around making people mad, which, I don't know, some people would say it makes him a good reporter. I've certainly known him forever, and at one point was his mentor. So maybe you can blame me for some of how he acts, although I think he does a pretty good job, quite honestly, and has a really good story out today. But let's listen to a little bit of this, so you can hear from Nico, and we'll just Nico's, we got these big-name guests almost on a daily basis here on the E-Radio Network. Nico's basically our guest today, all right? And by the way, we're going to have Cliff Harris on soon, the Cowboys legend, Pro Football Hall of Famer, played at Ouachita Baptist there in Arkadelphia, which is one of our many outlets, one of our many territories that hear our shows on all our affiliates on the E-Radio Network. He is, Daniel, traveling out of the country. Okay, I think he was wondering why I was suddenly pressing him so much, but he's out of the country, so he'll be with us next week, and that'll be fine. But let's stick with Nico Harrison here. The Mavs embittered, what do we call him, Daniel? Kind of embittered, he's right now, he's just kind of, there's a tempest. It's all around him. Will he survive? I don't know. I mean, the one thing you'll hear is he begs pretty hard, and he praises the owner, Patrick Dumont, because he knows that's his only shot for keeping his job. If I were him, I'd want to get fired. Like, why would you want to just sit here and just get kicked in the crotch all day, every day? But I hope, as I've said, everybody's like, oh, we hope he gets fired. No. Keep him around. Let him get kicked around. Why are people saying they want him to get fired? That'll make you feel good for about 24 hours, then you'll move on to the next idiot. Maybe they'll hire somebody good. I should be nicer. All right. Here is the Nico, and this is when he was asked, why shouldn't he be fired?
Well, one, I think I've done a really good job here, and I don't think I can be judged by the injuries this year. You have to judge from totality, from beginning to end. And so I think I have a really good working relationship with Patrick. I think you add in Rick. The leadership that we have is really elite. And you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. Kyrie Irving, did he go drink from the fountain of youth? I mean, is his injury, which is a bad one, which is a knee injury, did he suddenly, is the process been, I mean, there's no way he's going to be ready for the start of next season. I mean, I'd be surprised if he's ready to go full tilt by the All-Star break. So I've got no, why would you create some kind of false impression that they're going to be competing for something next season? And I'm sure there'll be some talk in the offseason, oh my gosh, he's ahead of schedule, here he comes, he's doing great in his rehab. That's all great. Is he going to be able to be Kyrie for any of next season? Absolutely not. You don't get that injury at age 35 and come racing back. Everything's okay. Kyrie's great. Everything's fine. He did a great rehab. He's the bionic man. There's only one bionic man, and he plays for the Lakers. And he's 40 years old, and, Father Time can't seem to catch him. But Father Time will certainly catch Kyrie because Kyrie has a different kind of game. Now, LeBron is very athletic, has a power game, but Kyrie is a herky-jerky, quickness, footwork, guard, shooter, needs his legs, needs his knees, needs to be fast. I mean, for a while, baseline to baseline, there was no faster guard. There was no guard at being able to advance it like him. Okay, it was almost kind of Westbrook. That was one thing, Westbrook, for all the negatives, Westbrook is a baseline to baseline phenom. And Kyrie kind of had that going. But I think we've seen the last of that from Kyrie. And, Daniel, let me just say this about before we let Mr. Cuban skate. All right, and we may have Cuban on the show at some point. We'll have a nice conversation with him. And there will be no like, oh, Mark, come on here, and we're going to lob softballs. No, we're not going to do that. But, again, this person that everybody hates and everybody wants fired, Nico Harrison, who hired him? I mean, was he hired against Mark's will? Did Dumont, did the Adelson family in the background that want this Sands, that want the casino in the Dallas area, did they force this upon Mark? No. He hired Nico on his own. And then in 2003, as people are trying to celebrate Dirk, they're alienating everybody. And soon after that, they started firing all kinds of folks. The medical director, the all these people that had been staples in the organization and were beloved by Cuban and everybody, Nico started running off. because for some reason Nico felt threatened by Luka Doncic and his people. And so that's why all the people, and even his, all his inner circle, they started to alienate under the guise of these people were enabling. Yeah, I guess. They were enabling him to score 30 points a game in the playoffs, take a team to the finals, and that's what he would have us believe is that, well, wait, these people were fired before Luka took the team to the finals. Well, yeah, but it started alienating him, and yet he still did not want to leave. They still had to make up a false pretense to even execute the trade. Now, let's continue to hear what Nico Harrison has to say. And let's give this man a chance. Let's give this man a chance to say what's on his mind. He's met with local reporters today, and he was just asked about, not gauging the outrage and the backlash that he received for trading such a beloved player.
I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level, but really the way we looked at it is, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team, and we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have quieted some of the outrage. And so unfortunately we weren't able to do that, so it just continued to, go on and on.
First of all, I don't know. We sort of demand answers and we want to hear from him, and yet this is the kind of fluff and weirdness that comes out of him. So I think the Mavs should probably go back to putting him in the deep freeze and not rolling him out for interviews. There's nothing satisfying that came out today. This echoes. I could almost understand how this new guy, Rick Welts, who's the CEO and more on the business side for the Mavs, I could almost understand him not totally getting the backlash because he hadn't been around for any of Luka's ascension. Now, you would think if you had half a brain, you would watch what was happening while he was with other teams and go, oh, man, this Luka's a pretty big deal in Dallas. But again, let's dismiss that guy. How is Nico here, watches the reaction, watches him take a team to the finals and not get this? How can you with a straight face say, now he said, I do know that he was important to the fan base, basically said, not to this extent. I didn't know the outrage would be to this extent. How does someone at this level, you get to be a GM and you're so out of touch that you don't understand that the trade of a generational superstar would upset a fan base? And the truth is this. Even if AD had have been healthy, which, by the way, he never is, even if Kyrie had not have had that injury, there was still going to be the huge outrage. Do you think that team was going to have the Mavs in a stance, in a place where they were like the 4th or 5th seed? I don't think so. Could they have been where the Lakers have ended up? Probably not. And, the Lakers made their move. They went from being an irrelevant team with AD and LeBron and a team barely kind of trying to play for the play-in, kind of like where the Mavs ended up, to a team that's firmly in contender status. Did they lose the first game against the T-Wolves? Yeah, they did. It happens. That happens. But that doesn't mean, it wasn't one of the greatest heists, one of the greatest steals. Daniel, I've heard of people in the building industry, people buying land, people in the real estate. You hear them say, I got a steal. I stole it. Well, this is what this is. This was one of the great heists in the history of professional sports. There is Jimmy Johnson taking the Minnesota Vikings out behind the woodshed, and there is this. All right? Now, one worked out to the benefit of Dallas-Fort Worth fans and Cowboys fans. One worked to the huge detriment of Dallas fans with this Mavs one. Now, I'm also getting this whiny, I know where this is coming from. We're now starting to hear that, oh, poor Jason Kidd. Oh, he didn't do his night with the media that one time, about a month or so ago. Didn't speak to the media because he was so distraught about everything that had happened. So he skips out talking to the media. First of all, almost no coach, unless you have something personal going on, you've lost somebody, your wife's having a baby, something, no coach skips out, coaches a game, and then doesn't show up for the post-game news conference. It's unprofessional. It's not done. And I get that some of our audience, dislikes the media and doesn't care when somebody sticks it to the media. Just let me explain to you, it's extremely unprofessional what Kidd did. And also what Kidd did is now he wants to revisit this and let everybody know that he was done wrong too. He was done, and while he was somewhat dissatisfied with some of the stuff from Luka, he knew that he had a superstar on his hands, and he was done wrong. I'll tell you what. Here's what you do when you feel like you're being done wrong. You step up. When you find out that you smell something going on, you say, "Don't do this to me." Or when it happens, you quit. You walk. This is grounds to leave if somebody does this with your star player. You don't sit around and skulk around and say dumb things like, oh, people comparing this to the Babe Ruth trade. Okay? That's embarrassing. And that's the stuff Jason Kidd was doing. But believe me, everybody's looking out for number one right now, looking out for themselves. Jason Kidd's doing it, and even Patrick Dumont's doing it. Even Patrick Dumont is starting to leak it to people that he got blindsided by this. And he didn't know this was coming. All right? And so, again, this is the mess that Dallas fans are dealing with. And just more fallout. Maybe the rest of the week. Maybe we'll be able to focus on the NBA playoffs and take a break from this.
More Matt Mosley coming up